by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, where I watch these things with you, so you don't have to watch them alone or at all by yourself, and prove to you that the tiger has no teeth. This is absolutely a fearless viewing of everything, including Bongholio here, who is now stealing talking points from Glenn Beck. Like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, especially if you're a troll, give us a thumbs down, write something, marginally hateful. Don't use any racial epithets because that stuff will get broomed. We want your stuff to stay up so that we can laugh at it. And also because it lets the YouTube gods know that, and the Twitch gods know that I'm popular. So, yes, Bongholio, who is looking for teepee for his bunghole. Who... So the World Economic Forum Great Reset idea, Nasara Jasara, but the bad version, which, by the way, is something I don't know that we've addressed enough in the past. But so the Qs all believe in a, let's see, where's a good yeah, hold on. It's a bunch of a lot of the like tweets about shit have been broomed. Yeah, I'll find it. Hold on. I know what I'll do. I'll go on. It'll be on Twitter. Because God knows there's plenty of Nasara Jasara lunatics on there, but it's basically like, to them, that's the good reset. Here you go. This is it. 172 countries in the world, is the owner and administrator of the World Account, World Bank, 180 accounts in the world, where all these people come voting. Okay, this is an ad. Nasara Jasara will be happening. Sub chatter about this. Okay, hold on. President Trump, save America. Did you see that? Jasara flashed across the bottom of the screen. Newton de Berber. Dude, what do you mean flashed across? Asshole, look at this. Did you see that? Sorry, flashed across the bottom of the screen. Somebody donated on RSBN under the name Nasara Jasara. It didn't flash, dumb fuck. Did you guys see that? Nevada Dan flashed across the bottom of the screen. Newsworthy also did, which is even more ironic under there. On the phone with Linwood, epic interview. Is Biden really the president? Yes, he is, just for the record. Here you go. We can find it. If this doesn't tell you Jasara is real, then you need a set of goggles. Look at this. We see the potential for digital precious metals, but gold is the decentralized financial underlying assets, physically backed token, makes sense, blockchain, blah, blah, blah. Can't see this. On Stellar, you can issue your own assets, allows you to create redeemable, tradables, NFTs. The Indonesian government's planning to launch a blockchain-based precious metals backed payments. This is the whole thing. It's starting from scratch. If you can't see it, you're a dumb. Okay, so that's the Q version of the Great Reset. They've been arguing for it, zeroing it out, everything. Nobody owns anything. Back to scratch. I guess they will leg wrestle for who owns your house, because they're gonna, they're gonna eliminate everything. And this has been a talking point. Thank you, Lisa. On his, on Glenn Beck's show for a long time. So
that every time the Democrats have a crisis, the fix they propose always seems to attack our pillars of Western culture. Why do Democrats seem obsessed with tearing down things like family and religion? These are good things, right?
They don't. You realize Biden is a Catholic widower who remarried and is still with the woman he remarried to, with multiple children, and they don't have any plans to destroy the. Now, granted, the Matt Gaetzes of the world aren't big on the nuclear family, I guess. I mean, you'd have to ask Nestor that question. And insofar as religion, not relying on it for your moral direction is one thing, whereas pretending you're religious or pretending you're a Christian and selling something that's the exact opposite, I think goes further towards destroying religion than actually just avoiding it altogether. The devil does more to support religion and its existence because he's part and parcel to the entire experience than somebody who's just abdicates any kind of interest in it.
Because it's all part of what they call the Great Reset.
No, the World Economic Forum's Great Reset has nothing to do with what you think are social impacting programs around disintegrating the nuclear family. So, well, let's see. Let's see where his take is.
Folks, the left can't stand
Folks, they hate it. Look at all this stuff that isn't winning at all costs. Yeah, because I would put Antifa and the Democratic Party and gay rights and the black. I mean, these are all awful things. Up with fund the police.
They hate what we stand for. They hate that this country is.
Well, yeah, you don't stand for any of, you actually stand for attack the police, for the record.
Built on objective truths. They hate that your big R, God-given.
By the way, objective truths, not objective truths, which would be something else entirely.
Is built on objective truths. They hate that your big R, God-given rights exist. But you already know that.
Oh, big R, God-given rights. But I already know that. I know that. Yeah. My God-given right to own a howitzer and or have an AR-15 modded to fully automatic with two 30-round magazines duct taped together in case a neighbor's kid sneaks out for the night and is sneaking into his back into his house after his parents have gone to bed, so I can mistake him for an intruder and execute the entire family by firing through the wall.
The answer is, why do they hate these things? And it's found in what they call the Great Reset. It's because...
Hold on. We have an expert on the Great Reset, I think. Damn straight, man. I know a lot about the Great Resentment. The Great Resentment. Tell me all about it. Come on.
You are in their way.
Oh.
So what's the Great...
Am I in their way? I'm sorry. I apologize. I was just holding the door for you. I was a greeter at Walmart for 3 weeks until the information on my background check came through.
Said. The World Economic Forum is a globalist organization of self-professed
Terrible.
elites. The founder and...
Do they call themselves elites? Is that all it takes? Shit, I'm gonna call myself an elite then. Come on now. I am an elite. A-L-E-E-T. I'm an elite, son bitch. Come on.
And is Klaus Schwab, who literally...
Oh my God, look at that guy, fella. He looks like he just stared into the Ark of the Covenant. It's beautiful. And then it's, and then pow. Don't do that, man. You look like Carl Reiner in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. I love it.
He wrote the book, COVID-19, The Great Reset, and made it a focal point of his summit in Switzerland in 2020. You want to read up on the Great...
Is he? He's probably a Democrat. He's probably one of them, the worst kind. He's probably one of them German National Socialist Democrats, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm glad we're here to call out them fellas, because I saw a bunch of them marching in Orlando with a Tibetan symbol on their arm run backwards. And that's bad luck. I don't know if you know that. Anytime you take a Tibetan symbol, I read this in a pamphlet on a Greyhound bus that I woke up on. I don't even know how. Anyways, I was on there and I read this thing. And anytime you take it, there's a lady, she was selling charms and trinkets and like this one necklace that you could wear. And she even had one of those things where you put it in your butt and it looks like a tail. Either way, it works. And you use one of those things, and she was warning you, don't ever take a Tibetan symbol and invert it, because you'll be in that's bad luck. You'll lose wars, she said. She's been right so far.
Said there's an entire page on their website dedicated to how they want to...
See, that's how they get it. The greatest secrets are hidden out in the open, where you can read all about them so that only people that can read know what's going on. I get you. I get you. I get you.
Start over with year zero. But listen, don't take my word for it.
Yeah, that's we're going back to Jesus' birthday. Oh, say Jesus sings. That's good stuff, man.
We always bring receipts here. Here's Schwab singing the praises of Communist President Xi Jinping of China.
Okay, if he's not actually singing, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Summit last year.
Uh-huh.
Polarization has created the age of disagreement, which threatens.
I got to say something. This dude talking just makes me nervous. Like, I feel like my grandpappy's going to just, like, jump out of a grave and want to punch him in his fucking knob.
To derail humanity. Now, we must come together to ensure that we capture the moment and move into the age of collaboration to build a better world. Mr. President.
Okay, that's, first of all, that sounds terrible. That is a bunch of shit. Holy hell, what the hell is this nonsense? Who's putting this diatribe? Message from the Queen that says the United States on my later in the future, reason you're nominated president. What a bunch of shit that is. You can't dump a bunch of fucking, like, just do a link to your goddamn novel on here. Somebody writing his fucking, what kind of bullshit magoo is going on in there?
I believe this is the best time to reset our policies and to work jointly for a peaceful and prosperous world.
Hold on. Where was he congratulating Xi Jinping? All he said is just we should reset and start policy restart. Does he mean like our policy to have gold back the American silver certificates? That would mean, right? I can walk. Yeah, that's what he said. Hold on. Back the fuck up. Did I miss the Xi Jinping shit? Wait a second.
For it. We always bring receipts here. Here's Schwab singing the praises of Communist President Xi Jinping of China at his summit last year.
Very exciting. Okay, here it comes.
Polarization has created the age of disagreement, which threatens to derail humanity. Now, we must come together to ensure that we capture the moment and move into the age of collaboration to build a better world. Mr. President, I believe this is the best time to reset our policies and to work jointly for a peaceful and prosperous world.
Dude, I'd look mad too if my director in the booth played the wrong fucking clip. You got that shit, I thought you were gonna play something else look on your fucking face. Dude, I'll be pissed, man. Make a phone call. Just walk off set. You should do it. Walk off set right now. He didn't even mention Xi Jinping. Come on, man. You were gonna walk off because that company that wanted to kick you to the curb was making you get a jab when you weren't gonna be an employee of the company anyways, and they were already letting you go, and now what happened? Shit, dude. Look how pissed he is. He's, oh man. He didn't even say the dude's name.
So what does this have to do with Democrats? Because
yeah, first of all, no, don't even go there. What the fuck does it have to do with Xi Jinping? I didn't see shit. Right? Did you? Dude, run back and play that. Did you watch the same shit we did? Come on, man. I may not read worth the fuck, but I can watch the shit out of something. Dude, let me tell you something. I'm good at watching stuff. Ask any neighbor who's ever had a hole in their fence. Tell you what.
In order to reset the world, liberals must first get rid of the old one.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's how? No, I'm serious. How? He'll tell us. Shit, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. So they got to get rid of the old world, eliminate it entirely, stop teaching history, Don't tell anything that's going on ever. Just start at year zero, okay? Everybody just forget what you knew, like them giant mudslides. Remember that was the first Great Reset. This is the second one. Y'all know about that, right? The Great Mudslide, slide history, something shit like that. The story of where is it? There's a whole conspiracy thing where they started shit over again. Here you go. Come on now. Here you go. That's what's up. Let me show you something else. In here, they got this, get this shit out the way. You got these old ads and shit. Inside the Tartarian Empire, the QAnon architecture, they did this thing where they used to have all these buildings, everything was all big, and then these mud came through and buried every fucking thing. That ain't the right thing. What they showing? See, Capitol's over there, proves me, same building everywhere. That's instead of it being uniform. This is all that. There used to be an empire that built all these domes, and then everything else was buried under the dirt, and only the dome survived. There's some shit. Hold on, I'll find it. Settle the fuck down. There it is. I found it. The mud flood conspiracy, which, man, that sounds like something, there you go, mud flood conspiracy. This is what they think happened. Remember, all the people, there we go, that they flooded the whole thing, that this is the real world and we built on top of it. Yeah, we ain't got no good trolls. I don't know why. They ain't all studied up. Here you go. Anyways, this is the second Great Reset. We originally did the big reset. Here we go.
That's why they constantly attack religion and family. The real power struggle here, folks, is between objective truths and the absolute power of the state. The family...
Well, much as I am a man of faith, faith is the opposite of objective truth. That's not the point. You don't grow from knowing what's what. You grow from knowing what might be, you dumb son of a bitch. Anybody knows gravity's real, but behaving yourself because the Lord might be watching takes some emotional, intellectual, philosophical, and soulful strength. Because it ain't concrete, you stupid son of a bitch.
Religion are competition for the state and the left. And there's nothing they hate more than competition and a meritocracy. Let's start with religion.
How come they keep winning the elections then?
For centuries, but especially in America, religion's been the bedrock of society. Here's Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, especially the ISIS caliphate. Man, if there's a single society on the planet right now that cannot do without its religion, it's fucking caliphates, man. There's nowhere to unshackled it. I mean, we obviously got our separation of the church and the state, so the good of each can intermingle, but the bad of each can stay the fuck away. But, I mean, if you're really talking about something that'll, the bedrock of a society, the ISIS caliphate is not going to decouple anytime soon.
Explaining exactly...
Yeah, fuck off. I know like 4 big words. Ease up.
...to Joe Rogan.
Categories dissolve.
Why is the waiter being interviewed? Fuck, they'll interview anybody on this.
Especially fundamental ones.
How did Canadian maitre d' end up starring in a television show?
Culture is dissolving because the culture is a structure of category. Roughly speaking, we have a bedrock of agreement. That's the Bible, by the way. It's that the Bible is the precondition for the manifestation of truth, which makes it way more true than just true. It's a whole different kind of truth.
In short,
Man, does Joe Rogan hotbox everybody that comes into that studio? Son of a bitch. We once blew some smoke in my dog's face and made him sound something like that. I don't know if he was really doing that, because I'd licked this stamp that had Mickey Mouse on it, and I was fucked up for a month and a half.
Objective truths from religion.
Hey, Kelly, thanks for fake trolling. It's nice. We need all the help we can get in this place.
It's competition for the state, so Democrats have to attack it at every opportunity. Again, they want to wipe out the competition.
Christians, of all people, are supposed to be particularly worried about their neighbors, and this is also a really critical situation where if you're not vaccinated, you may be the one spreading this virus.
A subset of Christians who support Trump, who believe that God had a very specific...
Hang the fuck out. Subset? You mean a smaller section of a larger group that is somehow blameless in this circumstance in general, but this subset might be a problem, but the rest of them are okay? As opposed to like baby Jesus out with the bathwater like this dumb fuck is saying?
Call on his life. It's breeding this degree of fanaticism, this degree of religious fanaticism that I think could have real danger.
Because let's face it, Republicans, this is not really the face that best reflects your party's values. This is.
Yeah, that's not that's actually holding up Christ to a higher standard, Magoo.
Remember?
He looks very upset. Largely because he does not understand what he has just seen. This will be the, if I'm keeping track and I can count to 2, I just use my teeth. I don't even have to get into my hands and toes. Come on now. This is the second video this son of a bitch put up, and he's going to tell us something else was in it.
In 2012, when Democrats took a vote to reintroduce the word God in the language of their platform, it barely passed. Listen to the boos.
The motion is adopted, and the platform has been amended as shown on.
Yeah, so the majority won out over the loud minority in a particular group. Huh. Go figure.
Screen. Thank you very much.
Then there's the nuclear family. We all think.
Yeah, by the way, you do realize y'all motherfuckers just booed Trump.
Good thing, right? With religion? No, not for the left. This is a big hurdle for the Marxists to install the Great Reset. They got to get past that. Your kids? Well, they don't belong to you. They belong to the state, according to these Marxists. Here are just a couple of headlines to prove it. See at the Washington Post and CNN. An unlikely.
Oh, dear God. Not opinion pieces. Don't fall into the nuclear family parent trap. What kids need most is love. What a terrible thought. An unlikely cause of our bitterness, the nuclear family. Opinion by Robert Samuelson. The nuclear family was a mistake, David Brooks. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. David Brooks. Hold on. Who's David Brooks? He's let's see. Tell me something about who's that dude? PBS NewsHour commentator. Oh, here you go. Here he is. I found him on Wikipedia. Here it is. David Brooks is hang the fuck out. A conservative political and cultural commentator who writes for the New York Times. He's a what now? Excuse me. He's a far-left Marxist. March 2020, the nuclear family was a mistake. Hold on. I got to bring in a reader. Give me a second. I got to look at this. The nuclear family was a mistake. David Brooks wrote, here it is, the nuclear family. The family structure we've held up as a cultural idea for the past half century has been a catastrophe for many. It's time to figure out better ways to live together. The scene, which when they're doing dozens of celebrating siblings, cousins, great aunts, the grandparents telling the old life stories. Oh yeah, this is a conservative arguing that grandparents should be more prevalent. He's making the case that you shouldn't be isolated in your nuclear family. The nuclear family should be the spread point from which you are contacting your cousins and all your greater family, that you shouldn't just slice it off from the rest of the family. The oldster starts squabbling about whose memory is better. It was cold that day. One says, after the meal. This particular family is one depicted in Barry Levinson's 1990 film Avalon, based on his childhood in Baltimore. 5 brothers came to America from Eastern Europe in the time of the Cold War, built a wallpaper business. For a while, they did everything together, like in the old country. But as the movie goes along, the extended family begins to split apart. Some members move to the suburbs for more privacy and space. One leaves for a job in a different state. The big blow-up comes over something that's trivial, but isn't. It seems trivial, but isn't. The eldest of the brothers arrives late to a Thanksgiving dinner to find the family has begun the meal without him. You cut the turkey without me, your own flesh and blood. You cut the turkey. The pace of life is speeding up as the years go by in the movie. Okay, in my childhood, you'd rather go around to the grandparents and they would tell family stories. Now individuals sit around a TV watching others' family stories. The main theme of Avalon. That's what he's not talking about getting rid of the nuclear family, you dumb fuck. He's talking about extending the nuclear family and attaching it to the rest of your family. That dude's a conservative, you dipshit. Let me just show you some fucking hell. Parenting young kids is exhausting. Should we rethink the nuclear family? That's because grandparents are around to watch the kid. They don't consider that part of the nuclear family. It still is. Jesus Christ. Should we rethink the nuclear family? Because you have aunts and uncles. Nobody lives in a nuclear family except fucking Don Jr. And then they've got 2 nuclear bombs cut in half. Explains the attack on pillars of Western culture. What are you talking about? You think Irish Catholics had a nuclear family when they came over here? Or Eastern Europeans? That's what the fucking story he's talking about is about. Like, they've got a black family playing in a dollhouse right here from the 70s for the picture, but he's talking about the movie Avalon. And the people in Avalon, let's see, are Baltimore 5 from Eastern Europe at the time of World War I. What the fuck are you talking about? They're not talking about getting rid of it. They're talking about attaching to more of your family. Oh, God, this is lazy.
Because of our bitterness, the nuclear family. These are real headlines. They can't stand this. It's in their way. You can see these.
It's not in their way. They're saying there's more to life than just the parents and the kids and neighbors. Distancing yourself from from the grandparents or the other parents or cousins or any of that kind of stuff is a narrow way to view family. That's what they're talking about. Fucking hell.
Lines right there. The left is dedicated to using every.
And again, that David Brooks. What the? Hold on 1 second. Let's see. An unlikely cause of our bitterness. Unlikely cause of our bitterness. The nuclear family. And it's an opinion from Robert Samuelson. Wrote 2 weeks economics writer. He used to write for Washington Post all the time. He was a columnist for Newsweek from 1984 to 2011. And he just wrote this in. This is his thing. Okay. When the history of our area is written, scholars will search for a larger cause of bitterness and contradiction, despite was it globalization, populism, and a powerful lesson for the Atlantic nuclear family was a mistake. New York Times' David Brooks argues that the family structure we've held up is a cultural idea for the. By nuclear family, he means a married mother and father and some kids. The alternative arrangement was the extended family, which included not only mom, dad, children, but also relatives, cousins, aunts, uncles. Well, that's exactly what I was fucking saying. Okay. The great defect of the nuclear family, Brooks asserts, is if there's a crisis, okay, people can increasingly go their way, the birth control, as Brooks sees it, okay, he's writing about that. What's your point? It's just rewriting the thing. Children have it worse. Brooks cites avalanche of statistics. In 1960, 5% were born to an unmarried woman. Now that's about 40%. 1960, 11%. Okay. But adult men and women have their share of troubles. It's a vicious circle. Brooks says, he's just what the fuck? He's just rewriting. Brooks finds both liberals and it's the same article. It's the same opinion rewritten. Larger. Read more from his archive. So Brooks did the article in the Atlantic, and this dude wrote an article about that article in the fucking Washington Post. 50% of the articles that I just looked at, 25% of the articles on there reference the other 25%. And the rest of them are arguing. The rest of them, by the way, are arguing for more family connection.
To tear our nuclear family apart.
He's just fucking dumb. No, to support the nuclear family so that the nuclear family isn't floating alone like some detached atom, you prick.
Do this, they create a divide between the children and their old and outdated parents. So that the
yeah. Oh, yeah. Fucking hippies.
Kids will voluntarily dissociate with their family values while the state's in complete control of their education. They hate competition. And once you see this, once you recognize it, you'll see it everywhere. You can't.
Media attacks idea of the nuclear family. And by the way, none of these are attacks on the nuclear family except its isolation. That's it. All these are about the separation of the nuclear family from the rest of the family. Look at that, JMC.
It's in the BLM movement, the LGBTQ activist movement.
Yeah, geez. People who've been kicked out by their parents for being gay, who managed to find a partner and then have their own or adopt some kids. Fucking monsters, am I right? People who had no choice but to be kicked out by their nuclear family, make another nuclear family, and then connect to a greater family, and somehow they're the bad guys? Good Lord.
Education and politics.
Progress. It's the reason that your grandparents' views are better not spoken in public.
People who have been cast adrift.
You gonna play the rest of it? You gonna play the rest of that, John? No.
By the breakdown of the nuclear family, they've lost touch with one or both parents, and they're sort of floating, and they come together and say, you know, we'll be a family together.
A school in New York City defend.
So that's bad? People who are disassociated from their families making families? What the fuck do you think immigrants did? People came over to the United States pre-1930 especially, and never saw their extended family again. Never.
Itself after telling students not to say words like mom and dad. Apparently they think it could be offensive. Instead of mom,
it's a fucking private school. Who cares? That's market talk. That is not the government. That is not social policy in the United States. Private organizations can do whatever the fuck they want, I thought. Whatever happened to business sovereignty? Grace Church Schools Inclusionary Glossary. Oh, dear God.
Dad, say grown-ups, folks, or family.
Yeah, parents. You've snapped the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
The Chicago's teachers.
Okay, and then I got to play the rest of that clip entirely. Okay, Chicago's Teachers Union don't want to go die in school. Right, that's the next one.
It's Chicago Teachers Union saying out loud, by the way, that your kids belong to them. We see it. It's
that's no, because when they're with you, that's the kids are getting everything from their teachers, not just the language there, but their behavior, how they address the other students, how they perform and behave in public. Your kids are taking stuff from teachers the same way they do from parents, and they're in their presence. Especially when you get up higher in high school, if you've got extra programs and, sports as well as extended programs, or in my case, detention, you're spending so much time in this, with those people that they are effectively in the parental window. But treating them like they're your kids, because when we teach, they're in their care. If something happens to them, that teacher goes to jail, or, just as if they were an abusive parent. Again, this is but please, over thousands of our members are CPS parents. To other parents and guardians of the city, we want you to know that when we put our children in our care, we put their well-being and safety first. We fight for your children like their own because when we teach, they are. Yes, their well-being and safety is their responsibility. They have an ability to respond the parents don't have. But please overreact. Good Lord. Yes, in local parentheses.
They're telling us who they are. Believe them. And here's Education Secretary Miguel Cardona echoing the World Economic Forum's talking points just days ago.
We can't lose this moment. This chance for a reset in education by going back to the same pre-pandemic strategies that didn't address inequities.
Listen, I get it. They're a skeptic.
You do? You get that there were inequities before the pandemic, and I know you didn't give a fuck and Trump didn't give a fuck, but now the kids are going back to school and you're like, ventilation and lead pipes are being changed, for example. Those kind of inequities are being, removed. You'd rather leave those? I mean, how are these kids going to bootstrap themselves if they don't feel hunger pangs?
Who could possibly doubt what I'm telling you is true, despite the evidence being everywhere? So how do I know we're right here? I just listen to the left, especially when they tell us, as I just said, exactly what they're doing and what they're going to do. They are who we think they are, like using the pandemic to take your freedoms so that the state can be in charge of giving those said freedoms back to you.
And we have a very narrow window to tie reopening policy to vaccination status. Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that
CDC, vaccinated people should still avoid travel. And CNN medical analyst. She's not setting policy. She's talking about New York specifically and why that she's in Baltimore, I guess. You do realize she's not a Democrat in office or anything. All right, whatever.
I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have.
Yes, the Biden administration needs to come out. She thinks they need to be bolder, and they aren't doing what Bongino is saying they're doing.
Did you catch it? She says this.
Yes, she says the Biden administration isn't doing it. She thinks they should do these things, and they fucking well aren't. They are not setting that as a national standard for the country.
Grants our freedoms, not by God or anything like that. There's a state thing, is it? But listen, it's not all bad news. Here's one.
Yeah, but you have the ability, you have the constitutional right to travel freely in the United States, for example. You cannot drive through people's driveways or through people's front yards or their driveways or on the sidewalk. You can't run red lights. That does not interfere with your rights because there's a guard on you interfering with other people's rights. Because you are sneaking a toxin into a place. It's like an arsonist. Like setting a fire is not illegal. So why shouldn't I be able to burn down a building? I mean, it's not like I'm in it.
So-called elites themselves at the World Economic Forum a couple of months ago, admitting that most people just don't trust them.
The good news is the elite across the world trust each other more and more, so we can come together and design and do beautiful things together. The bad news is that in every single country they were polling, the majority of people trusted that elite less.
Folks, you know how to tell when
Right? So fucking what? I'm going to go out on a limb here and go, that woman did not sound like a Democrat from the United States. She may have moved. She may have two passports. We don't know.
Conservatives are right over the target with the Great Reset, Year Zero, this war on family and religion. Well, the left, they send out their army of, fake fact checkers to call everyone conspiracy theorists. This is from Reuters just days ago. Look at the quote. Despite repeated
Okay, despite information shared online about the Great Reset, the sustainability plan proposed by the World Economic Forum is not a secret plot to end private property or create a totalitarian state. Okay. Is the word secret the part?
Information being shared online about the Great Reset. This sustainability plan proposed by the World Economic Forum is not a secret plot to end private property or create a totalitarian state. Every single time.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Dude, you can't just do that. You got to show the copy of the part of the Great Reset that says it is. You can't just hang that shit out there and go, can you believe they said this? Then you got to follow it up with the clip from the thing. And again, I don't edit these pieces. This is the end of this clip. So if he indeed did, and they edited it out, which I doubt, there's just no fucking way, and I don't feel like going and looking it up because I'm not going to do their homework for them. But if you're going to follow up like this fact check was bullshit, then you got to follow it up with the actual fact that refutes it. No? Anything? I mean, it's bad enough that we watched 3 videos that did not say what he said they said and had nothing to do with, I guess, Democrats wanting this giant financial reset with no private property or any of that kind of shit. And the guy parroting the Great Reset in education going, we can't just go back to school with all the inequities we had before. We have an opportunity to fix those things. God forbid. Like, whatever. Or create a totalitarian state. You got to go, oh, no. There, it says right here, page 9 of the Great Reset thing, we would like to end private property and create a totalitarian state. And by the way, people can like shit all they want. It's not going to happen. Yes, I agree. I think that we have to give him today's 5 eggs.
5 eggs.
That's right.
5
It's got to
eggs
be.
in a month.
That's right.
5
He's got
eggs.
to.
Eat 2 eggs a day.
That's
5
right. So,
eggs.
or 4 if you include his head.
5 eggs in a month.
Right. So today's 5 eggs, I know I'm giving it away early and there's a lot left to do, but for Pete's sake, what a bunch of garbage.